yes, I can.
Yeah, that's a good thing to do for the kids, like having them go in this program. I think, being in Utah surrounded by predominantly like Caucasian white people, like I think it's good for them to have that. And actually I think it's good for anyone on earth to have African American history. I think it's a unique history that everyone on the planet people in China should study African American history, people in everywhere, but certainly people living in America who are black and black people in the whole diaspora should study African American history.
I think this academy, this school, is not just about African American history. But they said black history.
Yeah.
So black history could be African American history. Those from slavery and all that kind of stuff. But it also we have a lot of different black Americans, right? Not just from slavery. People from Caribbean, like Jamaica,
Trinidad,
and the people, immigrants from Africa. So they're all black history.
Yeah, that's something that's new. I feel like probably within the last 5 years, because they have so many immigrants. They're like, hey, did we redefine black? Because most all my life, like black history meant African American history, right? Like Black History Month, we know what that means. That's like African American history, inventors, things like that. But I think that it is important now to acknowledge there's a lot of immigrants here. There's people with 2 African parents that were born in America, and like they don't know they're Ethiopian, but they're black too. It's like, well, is our history included within black history? So I think all of it should be included, because
even my girls, actually, when I think about it,
exactly,
are they African? Are they African American? You know what I mean?
They're all three. They're Korean, African American, and Kenyan, right?
Yeah.
Like really, biologically Kenyan and Korean, but born and raised here. They're
Yesterday, when you said, "Oh, this is African American school," then I was kind of automatically think that, "Oh, hold on, like." Don't we have to have like African American teacher? But then when I looked at it, it was not African American history. They said black history. And also, I just found out that they went to Afro festival or something all together as an academy. So it's all about like togetherness now.
The whole diaspora, right?
Yeah, whole diaspora, not just African American history.
Because it depends on who you're talking to. If somebody says black history, you don't know what they're talking about unless you look in details. Somebody else says black history, you don't know what they're talking about until you look in details. So you still don't know until you see a curriculum. There's a lot of studies of just African American studies, but you go to like Afro festivals just because it's happening soon, and it's like, why not, right? Like, doesn't mean that you're studying all of African history or Trinidadian history or Jamaican history or anything like that. It's just you have to look at the curriculum. But I think it is important for people to know how each culture contributed to civilization.
Yeah.
Like that's how you begin to raise your respect.
Yeah.
For video. All right, so this is about Lily Petal's World video that was made where she made with her husband. She's Korean, and her husband is, this is what the video is about. What to call them: Black American, African American, Kenyan American, like what to call them. But black people in specific, Blasians. So I just wanted to give it out because there's a lot of Blasians that live in other countries, like more specifically Asian countries, that don't know who their fathers are, whatever the case. And it's sad. Their lives are messed up because their lives is now dedicated to trying to find who their father is or whatever the case, or who their parents are, whatever the case. And being estranged in other lands where they're not brown and the hair's not straight, and stuff like that. So they're considered outcasts, or they treated like outcasts, or like a poison or some crap like that. It's crazy. Brown people have been all over the planet. So there've always been a balance between non-melanated people and brown people. It's never been overflooding of one type of people. And so what they did in the world was make mainstream media a overflooding of more bright-skinned people. So the standard has been like me and higher complexions of, as you call, black people. Darker people have been only looked at as like sex figures or whatever, sex slaves and stuff like that, dirt and whatever. But I didn't come here to talk about just that. I wanted to try to keep it as brief as I can, but it's hard to keep it brief about this topic because this is what I talk about. I could make this a priority of mine to just really talk about it, but I haven't really put my focus on Black history studies like that. I know a lot of information, but I could know a lot more information to where I could teach in the university or something like that. But the information I know, I could teach on an elementary level, a middle school level, and a high school level. I could teach children and stuff and kids and stuff like that, and give them a lot of information, about our people, as well as the set curriculum of your Rosa Parks, your Dr. Martin Luther King, your Malcolm X's, your, everybody else, but I just kind of want to put it in perspective because the debate between her and her husband, well, it wasn't really a debate. The concern was, like, if I'm sending her to a black academy, are they Africans or are they black? Like, how do you call yourself a crayon color? Black. What is black? You've never heard of. What's the language of black? How do you speak black? And you can't say black is English because English is not from black people, or as you call it that. So you kind of start realizing that black isn't something that exists. Something that somebody made up to kind of like throw an image and a category on the people to kind of make the world look at you a certain kind of way. But if you had a mixed Blasian or whatever, like I know mainly Anna Yamagishi is who I always talk about her father being from the UK, because a lot of people that didn't go into the diaspora as far as going to the transatlantic slave trade remained in the UK, because a lot of them were being sold into slavery from the UK as well, but some stayed behind and was kept as slaves to the people of the UK. So you have them there. That's why they speak English the way they do. So we're there, we're over here, we're still in Ghana and things like in Africa and stuff like that. A lot of us are still over there, or some of us are still over there, but a lot more of us are over here in America. We just been dying off or whatever the case. And it's been such a flood of differences of people and nations and cultures and stuff coming into this landmass. It's been pushing us out. We've been pushed to corners and stuff like that. So you really don't see us, or when you do see us, we look like a roach to you that you jumping and running and you want to get a bug spray or spray us. That's how y'all act, because you're not knowing the history or knowing where you at, or when you do find out, you're feeling different now. You don't know how to feel, whatever the case. It can get crazy like that. So, I think the first thing I want to talk about, if I was to tell a little girl like Anna Yamagishi, KT, that's her stage name, entertainer KT in Japan. She's Blasian. They were raised in Japan, and Anna Yamagishi is still trying to learn English, but she's full brown like me with curly hair, with the comb. Pow, the comb break. Oh my goodness. So it was like that, and then you have like your KT's there. She's definitely gonna make the comb break. Comb breakers. A lot of comb breakers is in Japan. Like all the comb breakers, making their own group. But I want to make this my thing to teach them, because it's like they're in Asia, in different countries in Asia, but they don't know who they are. They only hear about black and African, but they don't know the details of like how this happened, how that happened, and this, that, and the third. And I know it's like so much information, and I'm so have so much compassion about it. I can be all over the place, but when you're talking about a curriculum, yeah, you better have to really sit down and make a curriculum, because you get emotional about this thing. There's gonna be a lot of pain coming out. You're gonna start sounding biased and all kind of stuff, and it's just too much. You talking about 2,000 years plus, part of that 2,000 years having 500 years of us in slavery, 500 years of us being here in America as slaves. That's a lot of pain. So you're trying to talk about this, you're going to be all over the place. It's in the blood. The trauma's in the blood. The pain is in the blood. What I would do is, like, for a little child, to just talk about the term first that they would deal with in society, like black, African. If they were to go out into public, how would people treat them, or how would people look at them, and things like that. Like, where does the term black come from? African come from, and things like that. Then get into things like slavery and stuff like that, because the things that they would typically deal with, racism and things like that, and how you can get out of the curse of people looking at you like that by how you speak and present yourself. How you present yourself and how you speak can also get people to stop looking at you like a certain kind of way, like racist. I mean, like a NIGG, like a slave or whatever the case. So I would start like that, mainly just what is the terms, So the term black was something that they came up with after all of the mixed breeding happened in slavery, early slavery. Men as well as women. It's like the early day porn scene that was 10 times worse. There was no mercy at all in it. You know, you talking about buck breaking, which is like they bend a man over and have sex with him in the butt in front of his family, you know, and then have his wife and his children looking at him get buck broken, or else they're gonna kill his family, his children, and his wife. It's like better that you kill all of us before you try to stick your dick in my butt. Now we ain't doing that. We just gonna all have to die, like you know. So it's like that. At some point, you gotta fight for your life. So you had buck breaking. Some people were weak and they fell into the buck breaking. Some was already gay, and they just did the buck breaking thing. And then it just shows you that a lot of the slave masters were gay. But that black term just specifically, sorry, I'm see the pain coming in, but that black term just specifically came from the over mixed breeding. And so we are mixed with so many different types of nations and nationalities that we've been blacked out. It's like you can make red and blue, put that together and you get purple. But then if you keep mixing too many colors in that one thing and then you mix this in it, then this in it, this and so many different types of sperm in this one person, or so many types of whatever the case, you mixing your seed with many different types of women. It's like, yo, now you what? Well, with women it's easier because a woman can only be pregnant for 9 months, so it's different with women because it's polygyny and stuff. But with the men to the women, you know, when you got men from different countries just mixing that seed in as one woman, carrots, broccoli, potatoes, berries, pears, oranges, stuff that grow out of the dirt, different stuff that grow in the dirt, like bushes, trees, all kinds of fruits and vegetables and all kind of stuff they planting inside of her, or whatever the case. So we don't know what's going to grow out of the ground, what's going to grow out of her soil. So we've been blacked out. So it's been called a people of no culture, a people of no nation. But that also happened with forcing us. We knew who we were back then, but they forced us to only speak English and to not speak our native tongue, which is Abadi, properly called Abadi, but they call it Hebrew today. And Jewish people speak our language. They pretend to be us and stuff. So that's another part of the identity, the culture crisis, is the Israeli people pretending to be us. And how did that happen? And then that associates with Hitler and why Hitler was killing them because of us, and how Hitler came over here and he met with certain people that were black and in the Olympics and stuff like that. Was it Jesse Owens and his peoples? And so he was cool with us because he knew who we were. So he was fighting for us. But on the back end, it'll look bad and wrong or look like an enemy because he's trying to help us get free from slavery. And they wanting to keep us in slavery. So it could be like, oh, you're an enemy, you're a turret. They'll just put a bad name on you because they don't want to lose their, you know, economic advancement, which is us. We built this whole country on free labor, slave labor. We just built it. All we got was food and water. Barely even had a wife. He just was forcing us to work, and we were dying working, and all the stuff that you see in America built up, we built it as Hebrew people. Natives were here too. They kind of were hidden. You don't really hear about them, but it's because they just only agreed with making an agreement with the Hebrews that were dragged over here on slave ships. So they only agreed to make a pact with us to accept us into the land so that the land can be one with us and one with them. Everybody else get the curse, or you're ignorant, so nothing happens to you because you're ignorant. You don't know where you at. So you need to be educated first to know, to be like grafted into the purpose of what this land is about. Like it's a purpose about this land. You just think it's just making money and living, and people just hating you, and you got your own vendetta against Caucasian people because they came and bombed your country. So you over here because they bombed you, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, they came to Vietnam. You hate them because they came to your spot and blew your spot up. Now you come over here and have a problem with them, play a game with them, Squid Game type bullcrap with them. But there's something under the surface deeper than that, you know, that you're not understanding, and you can be brought into the purpose when you learn about what was happening here. You know, you celebrate it all the time, Thanksgiving. But what is Thanksgiving? You really sit back and ask what that's about. You know, how did that happen? How did that start? All of this type of stuff. So anyway, just trying to keep it basic. I guess I'm talking to all kinds of people right now, and there's all kinds of energy about this. So I want to keep it simple to just Anna Yamagishi. I want to keep it simple to KT. I want to keep it simple to Jenny Park. I want to keep it simple to all of the Blasians that don't know, the children that don't know who they are and don't know how to educate themselves about who they are because the information is watered down and twisted up. So how do I even get the information? Even your teachers don't know the information like that. They don't know. They'll tell you about Rosa Parks and some certain kinds of people that they got books about in America. So it's all going to be slave information. Rarely do you find somebody that can get you information that happened before slavery and how we got here. I can give you that. One of the few people that can give you that. There's other people out here that can give you that too. But it's like they're not caring to do it, but for their own people. It's not realizing that if everybody's educated, then people can make better decisions on what to do and how to help us if they want to help us type stuff. So yeah, black isn't the term. It's just something that they gave us disrespectfully because so much mixed breeding happened in early slavery. You can't really identify who we are. You just see we coming out brighter skin. I'm brown now, ruddy looking, and then we came over dark looking, and then we look light skin, and then yellow, and then some look red, some look white, some got it's like we mixed breed so much. It's hard to tell who we are. Even the natives that mix with us over here on the East Coast, where I'm at, was pretty much where all of the fighting happened at, all of the bloodshed happened over here. In the Pacific, where the Pacific Ocean is, that is a different story over there. When you talk about African American studies, you're going to hear about all of the stuff that mainly happened over here on the East. And in the South of the East, you're not going to hear about anything else if you go to school. You're just going to hear about that. Because where all the bloodshed happened at. But the natives mix with us. And so over here, I'm Cherokee. I know I'm Cherokee. I know I'm mixed with that and German and some other stuff that happened. But I know for sure Cherokee and Hebrew, And that's who we actually are, Hebrews. Sorry, y'all. It's just hard to kind of talk about this without the emotions. I'm trying hard, man. It's hard. So it's really, really hard. I'm trying. So we're actually Abanim, Hebrews. Okay? And Hebrews go way back to Abraham in the Bible. Yes, it talks about God or the Creator, but because the Creator is the one who is guiding us the whole way through our life and existence. So it's always going to talk about the Creator and our ancestors. It's not going to go one without the other because everything that we are came from the Creator. Our culture, our law system, our kingdom, everything was given to us from heaven. So it wasn't man-made. So you always hear about the Creator, dealing with us from heaven. So that's how people understood that we were the chosen people, the USPS service of the planet or whatever case. We're the ones that get you anything that heaven's trying to tell you. So Abraham was the first one ever called Abadi or a Hebrew, wrongfully called. And then we will call Israel later on, because he had many different kinds of sons. So only one son was chosen to pass down the covenant. And the kingdom of Israel came about through Jacob, as you call him wrongfully, Yaquab. And Jacob's name was changed to Israel. And he had 12 sons. And those 12 sons split into 12 tribes. And they were called the 12 tribes of Israel. And 2 tribes were chosen to be the holiest tribes. You had the tribe of Yehuda and the tribe of Leah, as they call Levi. And these 2 tribes handled the holy work. Leah, they handled the temple work. They were always before the Ark of the Covenant. They were the only people that could even touch the Ark of the Covenant and stuff like that. They did all of the offerings and cookout stuff, having the cookouts and all that type stuff with a purpose, your sacrifices and offerings, they call it, rituals and stuff. And then you had us, Yehuda, who were the royal tribe where only kings and queens come out of, princes and princesses come out of our tribe. So specifically, through history, skipping a lot, we, specifically the tribe of Yehuda, are in America. America, the UK, and the west coast of Africa, Ghana, and all of those areas over there, or even some of the tribes of Benjamin, what they call it Benjamin, but Benjamin, who they call the Jamaicans, they're specifically there, so that in the tribe of Leah went towards India. So that's how you know specifically that we are over here, the tribe of Yehuda, which is the royal tribe. You can't have the kingdom without the king and without the queen. So until we specifically over here get ourselves together, come back to the Creator, and the king can rise up, then we can set the government back in order. Until then, it's just prime ministers and all kinds of bullcrap that they talking about in Israel. It's not the real people. you know, then the Creator will come down and help us again, just like He did in the time of Mashab with Egypt, you know, and a lot of Africans came out of captivity with us. They went with us across the Red Sea. They call it Red Sea, but the Red Sea went into the land of Jordan, over there where Palestine and all that is at. That's where we live. That's where we from, and we went over there and was in the wilderness for 40 years, and He was with us, and a lot of Africans was with us. So we always dwelt in the land around the Africans. We were always in the land of Canaan, as they call it, the motherland. We was always there, but we were not considered them. We lived differently than them. So we were never called Africans or Canaanites or Cushites because the culture that we lived. That's how we ended up in America, through betrayal. And through the betrayal, we landed here because we served a different God. We ate different. We looked different because some Africans, they are cannibals. They eat people. They don't wear clothes. They got plates in their lips and they scrambled eggs on it and crap, you know, and it's a mess. It's a mess. They're deforming their bodies. You know, their necks are extra long when they put all of these rings on their neck. They deform their bodies and stuff and tattoo their bodies and stuff like that real crazy. Etch into their skin, carve into their skin markings and things like that. So they deform their bodies, you know, as symbols and signs of whatever the case of their culture, battle scars, warfare, this, honor, rank, and all kind of stuff that they do it for the honor of the dead, all kind of stuff. Even some of the Arabs, they hit themselves in the head with a sword so they cause bloodshed to come up from their head in honor of someone that was dead, when you're not even allowed to make a cutting in your flesh for the dead. You know, so certain things that we live by that the nations around us did not live by. And so because of that difference, they looked at it as a disrespect and they betrayed us. And the Jewish people that we call Jewish people today helped them, basically finance them to build these ships. And so they betrayed us, threw us right on that. If we didn't live how they live, stuff like that, we would throw on the ship. Some of them got jammed up, but mostly they watched out for themselves. They made sure that there was a difference between us and them, you know. But if anybody that was African, they were converted. So they served the Most High Yah. So they became part of the nation of Israel by conversion. So you could come over here and be African by blood, but an Israelite by conversion. So that's how we ended up here. So all of us spoke one language, one people. We became one people. So forced into slavery, the way we spoke back in early slavery in the early 1500s and so on, when they were forcing us to speak English, we spoke broken English. Or we spoke English like how somebody from Asia or the Philippines, like somebody in Japan, they're trying to speak English, but they have hard accents with the way they speak. So you know that the way they speak English, they're Japanese. You know, they're from Japan trying to speak English. The Philippines, they all have an accent. Hello, sir. Yes, sir. They have the accent and stuff like that. So you can tell that what kind of language they spoke before, where they come from. You know, even Chinese people, you know, when they speak English, when they trying to translate their native language to English, when they're trying to learn, it has a hard, different kind of accent. So you can tell where people be from depending on how they speak in English, you know. And so we were the same way. The way our language was when we try to speak English is like how I talk now. You know what I'm saying? I ain't about to do this, or yeah, I'm saying, and that's how our language was more connected to action words, you know. And so if I say Abi's going to the store, like if you watch old movies like Roots and Amistad, something that I would have them watch too. Old movies, slave movies and stuff, so they can know how we even got into America, for your father to even be from America, and how the heck that happened, you know. When the whole time, like, what the world's going on here? I watch those movies to know how that happened. And you'll see how they talk, because the old movies, still, our ancestors still talk like how, you know, the early slave, you know, how they talked in the early slavery, or whatever the case. So by the way they talk, you can tell that they spoke Hebrew, because the different terms that they use, when they sung different songs like Kumbaya, that is Hebrew or Abadi for saying come by here, Yah, Psalms chapter 68 verse 4, you know, that's the name of the Creator, Yah, you know, extol him, praise him, exalt him by his name, Yah, which means the one who self-exists. The Creator exists of himself. No one created him. So his name means self-existent. So that's a pronoun. I mean, that's a proper noun. So that's the proper noun name that he gave us to understand him. he self-exists. And how would you say that? Yah, which also means in pictograph, Hebrew, the overseer, the one that oversees all life. So he oversees all life, all that exists. He oversees everything. The Most High Creator, oversees all. So Yah means self-existent and the one who oversees all. The one above all. Marvel Comics call him the one above all. So different ways that the term is understood or whatever the case. Because whatever the case, it's like you can't even fathom how the sun is sitting in the sky. So how could you fathom how the Creator's in heaven? So it's kind of like giving something to understand what he's like, overall what he's like in a nutshell. But that's what they were singing songs like that. Come by here, Yah, come to save us and stuff like that. And even why we even had to come here, that's part of the history too. Like, how did us being such a great people that serve the Creator, how did we get jammed up like that? That's also part of the history that you can find in the Bible, because our culture connects and our law system connects to the Creator. So the Creator was the one that cursed us to come into slavery because of the disobedience, also because of the crucifixion of the Savior, which was that's like put the icing on the cake right there, crucifying the Savior. And from crucifying the Savior, he done away with our ancestors and dragged us all the way over here with a lot of murder and hardship, and we ended up here in America. But 500 years later, we're still here. We won't get salvation if we don't come back to our ancient cultural way, the Torah and stuff like that. That's our Hebrew side of the thing. But if you're mixed blooded with something else, that's a different culture that you have to learn too. But it also gives opportunity to bring the Most High Creator, who made all souls, to everybody. It's not the same as Islam. Islam was originally Persian mythology. And during the time of 70 AD and all of that, that's when Christianity came out with the Council of Nicaea, the Pope, the first Pope that came out and all this type of stuff, Jesus Christos, that came together to take our culture, the Hebrew culture, and the true Savior, who's Yahusha, and all of the stuff that our identity, and pervert our identity and make their own version of a Savior, because our way is such a righteous way. They didn't look at us like slaves back then, 2,000 years ago. We wasn't looked at as slaves. We were looked at as a holy people that's struggling. And we had a lot of respect, but they'd start losing respect for us because we were losing respect for ourselves. And that's how they basically sieged Jerusalem like that. The Siege of Jerusalem. You can look on Google, the Siege of Jerusalem. They have a board game even called Siege of Jerusalem. So you can play the board game. So it's all in there. Ezekiel, the book of Ezekiel, talk about the Siege of Jerusalem that was supposed to happen in the future. And it did happen, 70 AD, And then since 70 AD, like Persian mythology, a guy named Muhammad came across. You can have prophets that follow the true Creator, and you can have prophets who don't follow the true Creator. The scriptures tell you that. If you have a prophet that comes to you, but he prophesied a future and stuff like that to you, but he teach you opposite of the law of the Most High, then don't listen to him. So what is it saying there? There are people that will come to you that will have power to tell the future or whatever the case, but they don't live right. So that was Muhammad. He made his own belief system. He's a prophet, but he teaching people to turn away from the law of Masha, the law of the Most High, and follow his own way, the Kaaba stone, and worship a stone and stuff like that. So that was that. But it started off as Persian mythology, and he took all 360 gods, brought it down to one, which is the crescent moon, and have everybody use that as the symbol of Islam, and then bow down to a Kaaba stone in a box. And that became so, widespread or whatever in the world because of people's inclination to do wrong. You're naturally in your flesh inclined to do wrong. So you get trapped up by wrong things and wrong gods and wrong religions naturally because you and yourself want to live a certain kind of way. So you follow those belief systems or whatever the case. But whatever the case, the point all of this information is needed to know how we got here. It just sounds stupid, like religion stuff, or I'm being biased or something like that. This is stuff that actually happened in history. Like how did Islam get started? It happened. I had to tell you how it happened. Because before there was no such thing as Islam or Christianity. It didn't exist in Moses' time, as you call it. Egypt, when we were in Egypt and slavery during, with Pharaoh and all of that, the parting of the Red Sea, it wasn't Jesus Christ help me. It wasn't no Jesus Christ that Moses called on to part the Red Sea. So whatever power he called on to part the Red Sea, should we not call on that still? So we call on different things that they never called on, never knew of before. The prophecies of the Savior to come was already known. He just didn't come yet. And what he was coming for, they knew what he was coming for too. He just didn't come yet. So they still wasn't calling on him, They were calling on the Most High Father. But as time passed, they started forgetting who they were. They started losing information. The Romans are all over the place. So they were asking simple things like, how do we pray and stuff like that? How are you asking a Savior how we should pray? And you should already know how you should pray. Ain't you in Israel? Don't you go to school? You should know how to pray already. But they were losing themselves. So you had to teach them like babies all over again, some of them. But eventually we lost ourselves. So that's all it was. Was like people was forgetting information. But it was already originally known what the Savior was going to come for. So the ancient forefathers knew already. Even Adam, that's how it started. Adam was the first person to know the Savior was going to come on the scene. Because it was prophesied that he was going to come to save them, to bring them back, or restore a bridge. Sorry, I got to talk about this, but this is part of our culture that we must, as you call it, black history. This is part of our history. It goes hand in hand. We would not have got this far without those different encounters and things happening to us from the Creator. So you can't talk about black history or our history without talking about the Creator too. It goes hand in hand with you following. It's like if I want to learn Arabic, learning Arabic goes hand in hand with reading the Quran. Naturally, if I say I want to learn Arabic, somebody think they got a convert. Oh, we got a convert. He want to learn Arabic. Next thing you know, they're trying to bring me to Mecca, this, that. I said, no, I just want to learn a language. I don't want to go to the, and they're going to be looking at you strange. Then why you want to learn Arabic then? So it's like that. It goes hand in hand with the belief system. It's just that we lost it with the force of slavery. And, the diaspora and all of that stuff. Same difference. Diaspora, slavery, just a better term to call it. Went far with it. So yeah, we're not Africans. We could have been mixed blooded with Africans, but if you come under the covenant of Abraham, then you would have already naturally through Abraham's blood be Hebrew. But Abraham even had African blood in him. He had Canaanite blood in him because he came from the land of Ur. So the land of Ur, he was mixed with African, but he got separated from them and was called his own nation of people. So he, was mixed blooded too. And then the Most High made his blood one nation in itself. So the Creator did that. That's how nations get developed. You come from one person, and then you get split up, and then you become your own nation, your own culture. Japanese, Chinese, this, that, but we all originally come from one origin. But the Creator does that. He split things apart and separate peoples. But how that happened with the people today was because of the languages of the Tower of Babel. Split up the languages into 70 languages. So nobody understood each other. You went wherever the people that you understood, that's where you went at. So if you spoke Japanese and everybody around you building the Tower of Babel, not speaking Japanese, you looking around for somebody that speak the same language you speak, that's building this tower up. And, oh snap, you speak the same language I do. So now you linking up with the person that speak the same language as you. Splitting up family, homes, wives, children. All y'all speaking different languages now. It's like you got to split and go to wherever, the people speaking your language. So that was the beginning stages of the split, or seeing somebody be with a different person or something like that. That's whatever. But that's how the language is split. So you have different nationalities today. But it was just one language and one people at first. And Abraham retained that language, the holy language of creation, which is called Abadi. He kept it because he served the Most High Creator. So throughout history, here we are, Abadim, Hebrews, because how we worship, our culture, etc., etc. It's not hard to tell because you'll talk to somebody, you'll be like, "You're a Muslim?" No, I'm not a Muslim. Or yeah, I'm a Muslim. Automatically, from what you say out your mouth, you feel a certain kind of way. If you say, "You're a Christian?" No, I'm not a Christian. I'm a this. Or yeah, I'm a Christian. Just by what somebody say about what they believe, you automatically categorize them and you feel how you feel about them. So that's how it was in Africa. What are you? You're a Hebrew or what? Like, oh no, I'm a Hebrew. I follow the Torah. Automatically, the Africans is like, he one of them. You get snatched up and you get thrown into slavery. So, sorry y'all, but yeah, this is something that need to be taught. I could really make a curriculum and stuff and just be more organized with it, but I'm just kind of like emotional because it brought emotions out of me because Lily Petals and her husband is really like concerned about their children learning who they are on their Hebraic side. Now, I didn't want to just come out and say they're Hebrews because then what the heck is a Hebrew? Like, you know, and then you gotta start from like what? Where is kind? Then they could even be Native Indian because their father could be Native Indian blooded from through the grapevine or whatever. You know, so it could be that too. You could be Native Indians and this and that, whatever the case. So it's just that they dark with curly hair. So it's just kind of like, what are their history? What's the original history of the dark people? So the natives and us just made a pact with each other and just mixed together because we didn't ask to come here. We didn't come here with money, with passports and documents of paper to say that I'm a free man. I just come here with money to live here in this new found system called 13 colonies. And then from 13 colonies, you got 50 stars and you supersonic now. And next thing you know, you called America, you know? So it's like that, you know, but they called it America after America's Vespucci. Different terms people call them, but America's Vespucci, America Vespucci, Vespucian, or whatever. Vespasian, whatever. America Vespucci. So they called it America. But Christopher Columbus supposedly had found it. And if Christopher Columbus was the one killing everybody and started the whole problem with Thanksgiving and all that, why is it called America? Like, you know, why is it called Africa? After Scipio Africanus, when it's the land of Canaan. You know, but Scipio Africanus is a Roman general. See what I'm saying? So it's like, what's going on here? Changing stuff. So that's what America do. They'll sit up in your schools when I was young. They'll sit up in school and tell you that African people are white. And then show you in the book a white person in Africa. And my whole life I thought Africans was white. They'll give you a movie too. You know, the 10 Commandments. Moses looked white as ever. Pale face looking man from in Africa, the middle of Africa, a white man. It's like they disrespected us the whole way, you know, gave us false information, disrespected us the whole way and still do, so that we don't find our identity with freedom. They only want our identity to associate with you only have been a slave. And so when you think that you only have been a slave, you'll think that you are only a slave. But before slavery, we were a free people. We are the holiest people in the planet, you know. So Black history, African American studies, or whatever the case, is only about our history as far as slavery goes. And then they say a couple things, we came from Africa. They'll just start from that. How we came from Africa and came into slavery. They don't go further back than that. You know, how we ran away and this and what was happening in the midst of all of that and how we were dying trying to get away. You know, running from people trying to forcefully convert us into Christianity and Islam. You know, the newfound Persian mythology bullcrap. You know, they were chopping our ankles off, ripping the babies out of our women's stomachs, crashing them against stones and stepping on them and stomping them. They did us extremely crazy. The Arabs did us extremely dirty because we didn't want to be Muslims or Islamists. And then the Christians too, martyring us and stuff like that. You know, you can go into museums, this whitewash museums as we call it, whitewash. White and black just mean people without souls. So if you're black, you're a soulless person. If you're white, you're a soulless person. So you're both moved by demons because you don't have an identity. That's what black and white really mean, is derogatory terms. But today we can make it mean something that makes a purpose, which is now it turned out for our benefit. Because now you can look at the blood and be like, I'm specifically this through my DNA. But spiritually, are you from hell or are you from heaven? If you're black, you're from hell. If you're white, you're from heaven. So now you can put it like that, because black and white really isn't a color. It's a colorless thing. It's a soulless thing to say to somebody, you know. But it's been turned for the good now. So if you call somebody black, know they from hell. If you call somebody white, know they from heaven. So that's the spiritual side, the spiritual family. Neither here there. African, like I said, a lot of us are Africans in blood, but coming from Abraham is what you specifically know from our ancestors serving different culture, having a different culture and serving a different God than the Africans around them. Our ancestors always lived in the land of Africa, as they call it. We always lived there, but we never got mistaken for a different people. You talk about the stories of Abraham when he was living, when he went to Egypt, and Hagar was given to Sarah to be a servant or whatever the case, and she lived with them or whatever, and she worked for Sarah. Hagar is the daughter of the first pharaoh of Egypt. So they were Africans. And then you had Dinah, Yaquib's, as you call him, Jacob wrongfully, the grandson of Abraham, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But Yaquib, his daughter Dinah, got raped or whatever in the public, or got taken in the public by an African man, a Canaanite, and then he took her to his house and then basically took her virginity and stuff, and then came back to her father and was like, "I want to marry your daughter," and all that. And then her brothers came out and they went to war with the surrounding areas of the Canaanites. So they was fighting the many different tribes in the area that they was at. But Jacob didn't want a problem with them because it's like, we never gonna get rest if we fighting all of the people that's around us, because all the people that around them were Africans. So we always lived in the midst of Africans or Canaan or Canaanites. We just was our own people because it wasn't given the promised land at that time. But once we got our promised land, we became a kingdom. You know, King David, King Saul, King David, King Solomon, etc., etc. And so we became a kingdom at that point. And we had our own system and our own everything. And then the Savior came on the scene when we had our kingdom. At the end of it, the siege came, bam, 70 AD comes, we running for our lives. More specifically, the tribe of Benjamin, Yehuda, and Loya. So if you're saying anywhere over here, if you're a slave in America, you are coming from either Benjamin, Loya, or Yehuda. More specifically, Yehuda, because Benjamin is in Jamaica. They're Jamaicans. Loya, they went to India. So more specifically, you would be Yehuda. And how do you know that we are the tribe out of the 12 tribes that came over here? Because I don't want to name the books right now, but in historical books, credible books that I can give you later, we were the last ones to leave our land. So the other 11 tribes, or the other tribes pretty much, except 3, they already scattered. They ran away and went to Yarden, like the land of Yarden, and went into Yemen and all kinds of places like that. They ran away. And some even went to Egypt, went to Africa early, you know, and we left last. And ran, went into areas like Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, Cape Verde, Congos, Sudan, Ethiopia. We went into all different kinds of places and hid out, or whatever the case, and blended in. And but when we got over here on the West Coast, we dwelt for a while, from 70 AD to the 1500s. We dwelt safely for a while until a bunch of people wanted to take our land, and they conspired against us, and they got the Africans to betray us for resources. That's in the movie Amistad. You know, for resources, they betrayed us because they found us out, you know. And we ended up over here, across the waters. And here we are. When the natives found out we was here, the natives even came over here. They didn't come over here because of rebellion. They wasn't fighting against India, or, you know, their own people of India. They wasn't fighting against them. But it wasn't only native Indians too. It was different people surrounding India that agreed together, that were Hebrews, or originally Hebrews, but they're mixed with Indian or India. So they're mixed blooded already. So they decided to come together, and they can't go back to Israel to worship because the Romans are there. So since we can't go back to Israel, we're going to take ships and boats or whatever, and we're going to, you know, traverse the water for a year, and we're going to go get along the coast, the south coast of, you know, the Red Sea and all of that, you know, all of this. I don't know all of the names of the oceans and seas over there, but from over there, you know, India and all of that stuff, they traversed the seas and stayed on the coast where they could see land, and just kept going around, just went around, and didn't go across the actual middle of the ocean. They just stayed on, hovered on, like the plane. When you catch a plane and you go from East Coast America, and then you go to UK or something like that, it don't go across the middle of the water. It take you along the coast of the isles, so that you're real close to the land. So if you got to land, or you about to crash, you don't crash in the ocean. You can land on the land, get close to somewhere. So it's like that. They took the, you know, close to the border. It's close to the land. So that's how they got over here. It took them a year to get over here. And then they been called native. So a lot of people was coming over that they call Spanish people today, and all of that stuff. They all originally came from the area of Yarden. So you talking about Spanish people, they didn't come from Rome and nothing like that. They are Palestinians. They are people from Yarden, that what does you call Jordan. They're people from India, people from all over there. You know, they just thinking they from a special kind of people or something. No, it's just a bunch of conquering stuff came over here, and so you got mixed all up as time passed. But originally it was all that. So they call them Spanish people, whatever the case. But whatever. But South, and then you had North. North was where pretty much the Native Indians specifically had that land, and those who went south were the same. We are the same people, but mixed differently. So it's like I'm mixed with Japanese, you're mixed with Korean. So it's mixed differently, but so we went to South and North like that. So there was a border. That's why the border's there. South America, North America, but it was called Arsarith. And you had the north of Arsarith and you had the south of Arsarith. This was way before there was a such thing as America or a Christopher Columbus or any of that. Nobody inhabited the land over here. And so we just, lived for a long time here. And so by the time the 1500s came around, we already did a lot here. And you already had our internal beefs with different tribes. Some wanted to be camped. They started perverting themselves and just got a mess. And that's what Christopher Columbus capitalized on and just started killing us and killing because he looked at the bad of our people and used the bad of our people to capitalize on all of us as a people to take our whole situation away. Otherwise, if we were all holy people, he would not have had an avenue. But we still had holy tribes and stuff like that wore clothes. You had some that dressed like Africans, didn't wear anything. That's why you see some Indian movies be butt naked. They got skulls and bones and tattoos and piercings and crap like that, like Africans. They had like demonic type of ways. And then other tribes that wore clothes and garments, fully clothed, that stuck to more of a holy way, a Hebraic way still. So it was a lot of mixing going on. So that's why you have different tribes. But Cherokee is the main tribe that's talked about on the East Coast is Cherokee, because without Cherokee, there would not have been help with getting free with the Underground Railroad and Harriet Tubman and all of the people that you talk about slavery today, Martin Luther King and all of them. We all mixed bread with Native Indians to get free. You think that we just pure-blooded black. No, we the ones that mixed with the natives. That's how we got free. So we became one with the land. In order to become one with the land, you mixed up so that the land can speak to you so you can get free and get to freedom. Some people made it, some people didn't. So in order to make it to freedom or make it to the north, you had to be one with the land. So that was what the pact was with the Native Indians. The land will be with you to guide you because we didn't belong here. It was given to the Native Indians by the decree of the Most High Creator that they were given a new land to dwell in. And the spirit of the land of this landmass called Arsarith, America today is called, but the spirit of this land was with the natives, and so they became with us too, with the pact, and that's why you see things like if you wanted to get a car like Jeep Grand Cherokee, you can get a Jeep Grand Cherokee car, whatever the case. So it's have different cars like that and stuff. Like we're the famous tribe, the most famous tribe on the East Coast is Cherokee, and that's bases in Atlanta. We got Cherokee County, Atlanta would be Cherokee City, then you got everything else in between and around. So yeah, man, that's on the East Coast, and pretty much everything talked about in African American studies is all about over here on the East Coast. So it's not enough information, but it can get you to the point of how we got here, how we got over here, not before, So if you want to know about more than just as far back as slavery goes, yeah, you had to set a curriculum for that. I'm just talking off the pain right now. So I'm all over the place myself because the pain is in my blood too, And plus I got a big audience that's just emotional with me. So I'm all over the place waving and stuff with them and stuff, trying to stay in check. It's hard because the pain in the blood. It's like you use oil and the oil is starting to smell through the vent when you're trying to cut the AC on. It's like, yo, it's that, I need to change the oil, but you ain't changing the oil. What they're trying to do now is change the oil, but what they're trying to do is get rid of us. Instead of give us part of the, give us our land back and just let us be free, they rather kill us or murder us and get rid of us, exterminate us, and then bring a new blood and use them like the new oil. They think that they're going to be the, they're going to run things over and stuff like that. But no, they're just the next oil. And it's going to be worse for them than it was for us because they will come over here thinking that they're going to have a better chance than us. But as you saw, the Chinese, the Koreans, and the Japanese people, Asians are getting murdered and killed in America already. So you're not going to get a better benefit than what we got. You're going to get the same thing we got or worse. They just being hushed, smiling in your face about it. Smile in your face, but F you for real. But the only thing that frees you from all of that racism and that race talk is following the true creator, the Most High Creator, Yah. and following his law system, his ways. That's the only power that we have. That's how we've been surviving so long here. Because some of us have been following the true creator and have not been giving in. So it's just been a big, huge play, a big, huge tit for tat, a big, huge covert type of thing. I'm going to act like I'm cool and I follow everything you do, but then I'm going to flip on you. Like everybody is in the FBI, but everybody in the FBI is waiting for the moment to flip on somebody because this really Native Indian land. So why we even got an FBI? Why we even got a CIA? All this bullcrap we got, but everybody don't feel the same way. You'll have a Native Indian going to the military waiting to flip, like waiting to flip on the whole situation. So it's like Caucasian people notice. They notice already. So they capitalize on that. And they think about stuff like that. They have social media so they can watch for their enemies and they paranoid to death. They have paperwork for them to invent new paperwork, a new email or some crap to come to you to try to subject your life into more bondage without actually physically talking to you. They'll think about certain things. And they invent things very cleverly, extremely crafty, very deceptive. You could never detect it. And they have a lot of people that's subject to the system that they'll use your own friend or your own person closest to you to basically promote their agenda and enforce their agenda of more slavery. And they call it mental slavery, but it's still physical slavery. If you come here, it's just paperwork. It's a paperwork type of slavery where you got to sign papers or else you can't do because they have firepower now. SWAT teams, police officers, and all kind of stuff like that. Military. So when you get inside, you're trapped. But if you had the military forces of the world come against America, you would not be trapped. You would be free, because now you're not coming with the purpose to try to fit in or be a part of the system to be played with. You coming with weapons, so it's either like they telling you freeze, but you telling them freeze. Like, freeze, put your guns down. They like, freeze, put your guns down. We got missiles. And it's like an echo, like with the world, what I say to you is coming back to me. And nobody's listening to each other. So now both people are ready to squeeze the trigger. So it wouldn't be a thing of compliant if it was that way. But when you come in differently, like when a visa, and then you playing the game. Or you can keep it straight. It's a way to keep it straight and not play with them. If you come in with the Most High Creator, you can keep it straight. Live a holy life and just want to just go to a new place to live. They'll always look for a way to trap you up without you knowing, though. All your life being here, they'll look for a way to trap you up and make you a slave. But it'll never work if you follow the true creator. Part of that, and that finding the true creator starts with finding the culture of black people. And it's too deep. You're talking about 2,000 years worth of information. And I'm just trying to throw that together for you. It's going to definitely take a curriculum, and it's a whole course. That's like a whole, not just a whole course, that's a whole, with the world. And the more information you have, the bigger the course is going to be, type of stuff. So if I started with children, I would just start saying, like, black is just a derogatory term, for Hebrew people. People here were originally Hebrews. And that's how slavery happened, and things like that, Started, then, just like, that's a derogatory term. And go into the curriculum of how that's a derogatory term. Start with the transatlantic slave trade, culture. You got to go into the Bible because the Bible is part of our history too. You can't talk about us without talking about the Bible too. So you got to go into the Bible too, and things like that. And you got to break it down. And also you can just break out other books that happened from 70 AD up until now. You can break out other kinds of historical books to talk about and confirm how we got over here. Because we're directly related to King David and them. They just don't tell you that. They want you to think that we're slaves. We're not. We are royalty. The royal tribe is in America. So we're the ones that princes and princesses come out of. The royalty, the richest people of the nation of Israel is in America, the poorest people today. So if we don't get back on our feet, the world will not get back on its feet at all. And then have to explain that too. Like, how come if you get back on your feet, the whole world is good? But if it's all about y'all or some crap, like jealousy can come into, or envy can come into play. Or I would say jealousy, because the Creator, He made all people. So jealousy could come into play. Then you got to explain that. Like, how did that happen? How did you become the chosen people of God and all? And you got to come and eliminate the jealousy. And then once you get the jealousy out there, oh, that's how that happened. And this and that and this and that. And, it's crazy. But yeah, we're properly called Abarim Yashra'alim. Abarim Yashra'alim. Okay? And we're not black, we're not African, we're not anything of that. That's our dark skinned side with the curly hair. That's our side of the blood. That's what that is. Abadim Yashva'alim, wrongfully called Hebrew Israelites. So if you transliterate the actual language into English, it would be Abadim Yashva'alim. That's the transliteration because that's a proper noun. So you don't make it Hebrew Israelites. No, it's Abadim Yashva'alim. All right? And that's what you are in your blood, your DNA, not belief system or nothing like that. That's your blood. Any other blood like Korean or Japanese, whatever the case, that's part of your blood too. That's part of your culture too. So you can hide in that. You can get refuge in that. But the power of the planet and the world and the universe comes through the Abadi Yashra Ali blood. It comes through the Hebrew blood because our blood is directly connected with the true creator because he chose us way back in ancient times. A lot of stuff was happening. So he chose different kinds of things and this and that and the third, and many different nations came all of a sudden. Then everybody, you Chinese, Japanese, this, that, and many different nations came, and then more time passed, and thousands of years, a billion, gajillion years passed. Now you got today, and through all of the history and all of the stupid stuff that happened to make all of these different nations and cultures and languages, we were chosen. And so us being chosen is the reason why our blood is connected to the salvation of the planet. Bringing power from heaven back into the planet to get rid of all of the stupid stuff, to bring justice back to the nations and stuff like that. But a lot of people worship demons and worship false belief systems, so that's a difficult task to do because the people that serve their demons and worship false gods have power in their countries. So they would not throw off their gods just for the truth if they're already financially taken care of and they have comfort in their lives, already serving their false gods and stuff or their lesser gods. You have the true creator who is the power over all gods, the God over all gods, and he gives power to the lower gods to exist. It's like everybody has breath to breathe. He gives air for everybody to breathe, regardless what nation you come from. Water for everybody to drink. There's one planet that he made for everybody to live on. And then the universe, and then all of this galaxies, cause all of the extra stuff too. So he made everything over. He's the one over everything. And it's just that's how it is. People will not let their personal comfort go for the truth. And that's the difficult part, man. But if you want justice and you want America to stop running over top of you, that's the way you do it. But it start with, that one little thing you're not understanding. Black people in America are the very chosen people of the holy creator or whatever. Perverted to death. Why? Force ancient times. Rebellion in ancient times caused us to be in slavery today, and it's still in the blood in a lot of us. But a lot of it is just ignorance now. So we don't know which way to go because of ignorance. But if you teach them, we might have a chance. All right, so I want to let this go. It's been too long. I did cover a lot. I think the main thing I just wanted to point out was that we're not black and we're not African. We're specific to know that we're not African or black because of how we got here into America, okay? And why the natives only deal with us, and not deal with everybody else that come here, come in later. You come in later with a passport. Native Indian's not gonna like you because you came over here of your own accord. You came here as a free person. The blacks, we came over here. We didn't want no problems. We didn't even want to be here. And they like, yo, y'all the only people that didn't want to come here, but you're here. We will only make an agreement and a pact with you, a blood pact with you. We'll be one people. Everybody else just is coming over here trying to get part of the money, get part of the, forget them. And if they can learn and start having compassion, then we'll probably open up to them. But until then, no, it's just us. So if you did get you a black person or a brown person, it's a benefit that you have a child that's mixed blooded because not only are they possibly Native Indian, meaning they're a landowner, they're original landowner, or you are black or Hebrew rather, Abadi. You're Abadi Yasha Ali, so you are of the royal tribe of the kings and queens and princes and princesses of the nation of the chosen people of the true creator who made the whole planet and the universe. So you have a holy blood in your land. So you have a holy blood in your land. The people are just messed up because of slavery and rebellion of our ancestors. It can be fixed with just education, and you can get to clean the blood up. But originally, our blood is connected to holiness, holy and powerful people, royalty. So black people are royalty naturally. It's not, it's specific. Our tribe is royalty. So you're not talking to slaves or peasants or dogs or monkeys or whatever you call us, dogs or whatever. We are royalty naturally. Okay? All of our riches is in the land of Israel, being hijacked by a bunch of people calling themselves Jewish people, killing Palestinians. So if you are Blasian in Korea, or you're Blasian in Japan or whatever the case, and your father came over there directly from Africa, then that's specific. But if your father came from a country like UK or America, something like that, then it's like more than likely you're royalty. You're mixed blood with the rich. So that means you would have rights over here as the landowner in America, and you would just be a royalty of the chosen, people of Israel. So it's a very great responsibility and a very great thing to say. But it's just, how do I make it great when the people look like a mess? So it would be hard to do that. But yeah, that's to Anna Yamagishi, that's to KT, that's to Jenny Pop. If your father's from America and he's a black man, you're royalty. Yeah, you are royalty from a nation of Israel. That's crazy, right? It's crazy. You're of royal blood. Your royalties and your rights is in the land of Israel. So if you were still in the land of Israel, you would be famous. You would be rich. You would be, great. A princess or something like that. It's crazy, right? Or you would be a native Indian. Either or, you'd be a native Indian in one of the tribes of the natives on the East Coast or wherever they came from. You would be native Indian. So you would have rights to this land over here. You just would be in a battle because it was conquered. So you would be on the end where, like, as soon as they see you come in brown with curly hair, they already know you're either a Hebrew from the tribe of Yehuda as a slave, or you're a native Indian that is a landowner. First thing they notice when they see you brown like that. So they come and attack you. Then they look like, hold on, you Korean too? Like, so they're like, what problems we got with Korea? So them knowing more information than you do about brown people in America is what give them the leverage over your nation, over your countries. The more you want to know about brown people, and the more you do know about brown people, the more leverage you have over the people that's conquering you and conquering this land. They hoping that you don't want to ask questions. That's what they're hoping that you do. So they pervert the information. They call us black. They call us African. They call us Christians and Christianity. They made the whole thing false. So one key thing you can always point out: what language do you speak? What is your native language of your black blood or whatever the case is? You can say it like that. What is the native language of your people? If you don't know and they don't know, nobody knows. I know because I studied. But if you ask a random black, brown person or whatever, they don't say, I don't know what my native language is. I just only speak English. That's scary. That's scary. But that's how you know. Learn about the people that only speak English in America, but know that they don't come from America. How come you only speak English, but what? So it's that thing. The confusion about that. Everybody that come here otherwise have a native language and they speak it. They have a culture. They talk about it. They keep it dear to them. So that's how Japan, they starting to get their culture stripped. Senor Sushi, Spanish sushi, and Pomona, California, they're trying to attempt to steal their identity just like the Jewish people stole our identity, and they're trying to steal their land. So what are they trying to do? Oh, Japan, that's a small place. They barely holding on. They over here, and they want to subject you by doing this. That's what they do, So learn about it from brown people, and you will find freedom through us, the least people in the planet. The people on the most bottom people on the planet, is the people that you want to learn from, so that you can capitalize on that and save your own nation of people. People don't think that. You think that you need to get close to the people that's rich, get close to the people that's living in a beautiful place. The world is not beautiful today. People are ugly. People are evil. So get to the people that's treated the worst, specifically in America. Go to the people that's treated the worst, that's the most messed up people, and learn from them. Something that you would not do typically, but that's what you should do. Stay away from Caucasian people and rich people. And, you know, you don't like to say stay away from them, meaning like, don't learn from them. They're going to lie to you. That's how they got America established. Hardcore, line crossing, no F's given lies. Straight, that's what I learned in school. African people was white. And they hardcore taught us that. African people is white, and we really believe in it. Because I come up in a time where wasn't no social media, wasn't no internet. It was just go outside and play. Wasn't no phones, no cell phones, nothing. And it was just like go outside and play. So here it is. You taught in school Africans is white. And then finally later on, you find out Africans is black. You know, like what? They'll show you on TV all day. Send 10 cents. Only send 10 cents can feed a whole mouth of somebody with some little boy with flies on him in Africa. And they say only send 10 cents. And after you watch the commercial, you all feeling sad. I gotta find 10 cents so I can send it to the people in Africa that's poor and suffering. Not realizing that they just told you that Africans was white, so you done forgot all about that because, you know, it's all that. It's crazy. But, yeah, man, I just wanted to leave it with that. A video's an hour long. And that's to Lily Petal's World. That is really something that I feel like I want to dedicate my life to doing. Because after talking to Anna Yamagishi, after talking to KT, I talked to KT only for a little bit on her live, but she kind of like pushed me. And then you had Jenny Park, you know, not knowing who their fathers are and stuff like that. It can make you feel some kind of way about black men generally. So you'll put it on me as to how possible, like trying to feed from your father through a black man. Like, I'm going to talk to this black guy right here and get a feel of probably why my father not around type stuff. You know, the whole time I could be a whole different type of black guy, you know, like, you know, not like your father at all, but you trying to get a connection, like, get a connection. Let me talk to him, see if I can connect with my father through the, like, it's funny, but it's serious, you know, that, you know, that's what a daughter think about, where her father is, and trying to connect back with her father and use any kind of means that she can to get her a connection to her father again, you know, especially like in a place like Japan and all that. And you brown curly hair, ain't nobody curly haired around you. All you know is Japanese and the ways of Japan, and then you try to finally go back where your father was from, and like with the world, you can't even start from point A or point B or Z, nothing. And it all comes with information. Who are we as a people, as a black people? Who are we? Not realizing that your father did that so that you can have a chance in a different country and forget about it over here because it's that much of a mess, but you can't even fathom how it's that much of a mess. You still feeling like there's hope somewhere. There's no hope at all, really, but you just need to be educated on that. The history of Hebrews, Abarim, people. So, I'll try to do that, man. I feel like that. I feel sad because mainly Anna Yamagishi, because she always say, I'm British and black half. And I can feel the pain in her when she always say that. I'm British and black half. And she got a Japanese accent, but her hair curly as ever. She's trying to find home. You know, who was her father? You know, you probably crying every night, wishing your father was here, wanting to know who singing songs. You know, Sayonara, that's my favorite song for real. I wait for that song to come out on Spotify so I can Sayonara. That's my song right there. But I miss her. She used to play that in the background all the time on her lives. And then KT, being live with her room a mess in the back, but she's just stressed out for real. So it's all that. Even people that come from America go to Japan and don't know who they are. So that's why they go to Japan. Because they can't identify with their own black culture. So they don't know the history. So they just forget it. I'm going to be Japanese, learn Japanese and go to my Japanese blood and be that. And they be feeling jealous, like, why you come over here and you black? And they not knowing that the disrespect of America, how deep it is, until Senor Sushi happened. Senor Sushi is how you know why we are the way we are, trying to run somewhere else that's part of our other blood because we don't know who we are. Start slow like that. Senor Sushi. Then they get 100 years pass. Next thing you know, Spanish people make seaweed burritos and stuff. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. That's how it started, yo. One little inch, one little step. They take a hold, they gonna see what you gonna do. We said Senor Sushi, let's see what they gonna do. They ain't doing nothing, keep it up. Don't knock it down or nothing. And they just keep being disrespectful. Making money and getting rich off of your culture. So it's like that, you know. That's what happened to us. Slowly but surely, lost ourselves. Started with the language, forcing us to only speak English. Can't read, forcing us not to read. Or else we would remember who we are, because the Bible talks about us, so we would know, we would pick it up quick. Because, this is, da-da-da-da-da. We would be able to pick it up quick, because it's about us. So they was forcing us not to read, the ancestors forcing them not to read, so that the children could learn English. And when the children learn English in the perverted version of the Bible, that grandparents and stuff like that can't speak English, they speak Hebrew still, they would not be able to correct the English. They were like, oh, no, that's wrong right there, baby girl. Ain't no such thing as a Jesus Christ. That's wrong right there. So they separated the families right in the family like that. Separated them. And taught them different things right up under your nose. Taught you different belief systems. It's crazy. Feeding you food you're not supposed to eat. They'll read the Bible and see that you're not supposed to eat certain things, and then make sure you only eat that thing that you're not supposed to eat. Only to keep you subject in slavery. That's how it's all to keep us slaves. So it's just like the thing in a curse. That's what it is, a curse. So in order to get free from the curse is to come back to the Creator, and then he'll move. He need a reason. He need a reason to move again upon the land. If you don't have a reason, you're just going to stay like that. We're going to stay cursed. So we have to choose and stuff like that. It's a fight. It's like a war to find information. So the information really is on war. The war is really on information. Fighting for information, fighting for truth. And it's like really going to war against a great, a great army or a great company of people that's way too great for you, or giants and all kind of crap like that, just to get to the small little bit of truth that you're trying to get. The name of the Savior. So you fighting giants and dragons coming out of nowhere, out of the sky, stuff popping up out the ground with skeleton hands, and you demons, volcanic eruption came, and next thing you know, fireball, people start rolling down the volcano, running at you full speed, roaring with weapons, trying to stop you from getting 1 ounce of truth. What the world going on, man? It's crazy. Thunder and lightning coming out of nowhere. UFOs flying every day. Zipping it. The world going on out here. All kind of crazy stuff. The UFOs fighting, this fighting, that fighting. You going against the people. Like, it's just you, though. Like, what the word? Just me trying to get the truth. All big army and company of people coming and crap like that. It's crazy. And you got to fight all of them just to get to the truth. That's what it's like. And everybody don't fight that fight. They see a little bit of opposition and be like, nah, man. But you trust in the Most High, you'll be like Samson out that thing, times 10. Samson times 10, you out there fighting everybody to get to the truth. You'll just override everybody and fight like an archangel or something like that. Archangel can destroy the whole planet. But it's like, you'd be like an archangel out there. The archangel can also destroy the universe. But they stay humble because they created the universe. So they're way greater than what we can fathom. But still, they're not the Most High Creator. So it's like that. So I just wanted to say that, man. It's a lot of information. I just went all over the place with that thing. But all of this stuff connects together when it comes to who's a black person. Talking about the identity of a black person. All of that spiritual stuff start coming into. You have to. Which makes it harder to talk about. Also, the pain, the trauma makes it harder to talk about. The suffering we go through every day, being poor, being homeless, being oppressed. It make it hard to talk about. Even me right now, my family and stuff, oppressed, fighting and struggling hard just to get, just to make it each day. Waking up each day, like, hoping that it's going to be a progression. Like, instead of being, take 2 steps back. Like it's a board game or something. You way at the front. Start back from the beginning. You pluck the wrong card. So it's like that. How it is with us. Just hoping that you can keep moving forward slowly, surely. You can get somewhere. The rest of y'all just be flowing. Shorty, y'all be rich, this, that. Y'all got your own country. You got your own money. You got your own currency and all that. You can make yourself rich out of nowhere. What's a money game? Chop down some trees, make your own currency called whatever dollar or whatever the money is. And then you can play the currency game. And y'all just rich for nothing. Get you with this, get you with that, the fancy this, the fancy that. Y'all can make yourselves rich all y'all want. Y'all still got flags. You got a country. So you can play a money game. We are slaves. We can't play a money game. We using the money of where we at. American dollar. So we can't make ourselves rich. So you wonder like, well, why you can't get yourselves on your feet? We don't have a country. We don't have a money. We don't have a currency. We don't have a dollar. We don't have nothing to trade with. We don't have land. We don't have nothing. We're a conquered people. Y'all got stuff to play with and to fight about. You know, you got stuff that you can fight with, man. An army, you got currency, you got this, you build stuff, you got your own land, you can make this, you make this, TVs, PlayStation, cars, this, that. You have stuff. We have nothing. That's what makes the difference. We erase people that's still breathing. But I'm that fighter. I'm that guy that's fighting against all of the stupid stuff and the giants and the volcano people and all kind of UFO bull crap like that to get to the truth. And I got to the truth. Fighting a lot of schizophrenic episodes, a lot of seizures, a lot of suffering, a lot of homelessness, a lot of being in different countries, being treated like trash, people misunderstanding me all the way, misunderstanding black people because the world is never taught about us. So when you go in there as what we really are like, we're misunderstood. Normally people come there as you're an FBI agent or CIA, so they think that that's part of what you are, American. But when you come as the trueness of who you are, people they misunderstand it, they're confused, they don't know what's going on, all of that stuff. You don't know. It's like, and so it becomes harder to survive and make it through. It's like, well, he's not FBI, he's not this, he's not that, he's just like loose. Like, what's going on here? Who is he? Who is that? We don't know anything about. And you realize you don't know anything about black people, as you call them. Abanim, Hebrews. But with that said, I'm gonna let it go, y'all. It's too much information. It's crazy. I can't talk enough, but it's like, yeah, man. Curriculum. Yeah, let's get the curriculum started. You know, starting from the transatlantic slave trade and then going backwards. Or starting from a certain point of Abraham all the way up to the Savior, and which is 70 AD, and then from 70 AD to the transatlantic slave trade, and then from the transatlantic slave trade up until today, you know, and then you can make it in 3 parts like that, and then that third part could be like more details in it because we're living the captivity today, so we can have more information on more specific people that we know that we can reach, like, you know, Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, this person, that person, you know, so you can get more, you know, more detail with it. But further back, you know, keep it more general and just kind of like get to the point of how we got here and that who were we back then, and keep it more general with less details for children. And so with that said, I'm gonna let it go, y'all.